So as you heard from Nils Petter Tisell, the project manager, product manager lead for NSO, a big focus for the product roadmap is around making it, the product easier to use. So ease of use is a high priority. And in line with that, we're happy to introduce the NSO Developer Studio. And Niraj is going to come up on stage to tell us more about that in this session. So the stage is yours. Welcome.
Thank you, Marcus. Hi. It's nice to be here. This is my first time in DevDays. So when I came to know I'll be coming here, I was very excited. But then after a couple of days, they told me I need to present as well. So I said, OK. Then I came to know after a couple of days, my session is last session, like last session of developer days, like service developer track. I seriously want to know who scheduled my session. Then still I was OK with that. Then I came to know a friend of mine is also presenting, and his session is on very first day. And he was very happy about it. Like, he don't have to carry a pressure, he will be relaxed, free, has a plan on sightseeing in the evening. So that first day presenting happiness was visible on his face. He could not hide it, and I could not ignore him. So anyway, I hear some laugh in the room, so I think everyone is awake this afternoon. Good. Jokes apart, I'm really excited, and it's nice to be here. 2 reasons. Nice, because it's like my first time, and I got last session, so it gives me time to settle. And I could listen to all amazing presenters. So it helped me to took out that nervousness. So thanks for that. And another thing is, like, we always work on things, improve the tools, improve product, keeping in mind operators, customers. This topic is for us, for developers. So this is to help developers. So let me start properly this time. I'm Niraj Chandak, a software developer working on NSO Core Function Pack at Cisco. I'm based in San Jose, and my topic is NSO Developer Studio for Visual Studio Code. Agenda is pretty simple. I will have some introduction slides and try to answer basic questions. Why do we need these tools? Why VS Code? What are these tools? And how do we use them? So we'll have some demo and maybe the questions after that. So let's get started. Tools. So tools are essential part of any work. In every industry, we use a lot of tools. Even in networking and software, every day we use a lot of tools. So choosing right tool makes job easier, provide better training options, learning options. It increases the productivity. And overall, tools increase the efficiency. So what we offer in development using Python, Java, we get a lot of IDE support. But when we use NSO for, and we develop anything on top of NSO, we do some specific things. We need to access the CDB. And we have Explorer for that. And in development, we create the NSO package, write action points, service points. We need to write YAML files, templates. And IDE will help with that. Why do we need these tools? I just have one slide for this, just to give the idea. Like, so looking at screenshot, it shows package status error. Any guess why this could have been happened? Unknown processing instruction. The error is in template. So here is the template for reference. So if we look at line number 53, expand is misspelled. So it's very basic typo error. Generally, how developer work is we make code changes, we compile package, we maybe restart NSO using some script, we load merge service, and eagerly waiting to see the working version of our code. And so it takes even time to figure this out. We don't even always check the package status. To be frank, this is like a syntax error, typo, and should have been caught then and there itself. So IDE will help with this type of errors. And why VS Code? Basic advantages, widely used, very popular. It has support for multiple languages. Documents are very well written. Support for language server protocol and custom extensions. It's easy to write extensions on top of it. And integrated with many CI/CD tools. So with Git, it has in-product support. It shows what branch you are on. So collaboration is easy. And open source, it comes with tons of extension for different languages, text editors, remote development. So it was a good choice for us. So what are NSO tools? So to access the CDB, we use Explorer. And IDE provides the integrated environment for service development. So basically, it simplifies the service development just to address the steep learning curve for beginners. And it helps developers with auto-completion, pre-populating code at most of the places like Yang, Python, Java. So with NSO Explorer, we can connect to any running instance of NSO, a local or remote. Once authenticated, we can access the CDB data, config, operational, actions. We can capture key path, X path at any particular node in the Yang structure. We can even copy the XML payloads. And we have initial support to run actions too. What Developer IDE offers is we can create NSO package from Developer IDE. It provides a wizard where we can create. We'll do that during demo. We support Python and Java. Create service point, action points using from your Yangs using simple wizard. It pre-populates commonly used code, mostly for Python, Java, Yang file. Really helpful for Yang and XML templates. It dramatically speeds up the writing time for these files. And we'll get pretty much all IDE supports as we are building on top of VS Code. Autocomplete, navigation, refactoring, I'll say syntax highlighting, so faster feedback on the mistakes. So it helps you to do more and provide faster feedback on the mistakes. So I will quickly show how Explorer looks like, and then we'll come on the IDE part. So we'll try to create one package and see how it goes. So this is the welcome screen for Visual Studio Code. I'll show you how to install package first. So if we go in View and Extensions, here if I type NSO, there it is, like these two extensions. So if it's not installed, an install button will appear. It has a basic README where prerequisites, how to set it up, what features it supports, all of that is provided. It has a link to marketplace of VS Code. The same README will appear there. Version history. It also has link to NSO guides, and we have documented that in NSO guide as well. So this is like not just attempt to help developers. We are serious about it. I think that page is not loading. Yeah, but I mean to say the support is there. So whenever we install this Explorer, on left-hand side, the NSO icon will appear. If I click on the icon, it asks me to add NSO instance. So pretty much this information I need to provide. So if I click on add NSO instance, here I'll click it, and everywhere in VS Code, our shortcut is Control space. So here it gives us the option of all the fields which we want to copy, something like host, name, all of these fields we can copy. Hey, we can type it out or write it out. I have a copy just to save some time. And as you can see, as soon as I save the file, on left-hand side, I see the CDB elements. These are like top-level elements of our NSO. So something like if I do show tab, this is what it's showing in Explorer view. And we can navigate to lower level elements. So if I expand devices, is it visible? Should I maximize it or? Okay. So under devices, I have, let's say, 3 routers. On right-hand side, we see whenever we hover over any element, we see 4 buttons, options. So these are to copy key path, X path, copy XML config. For that, the buttons are there. It gives the basic information about the element. And again, like we can copy key path, X path. And wherever there is a triangular play button, it is action. We can execute action from here. On top, we have a refresh button. If something changed in CDB, we can just refresh and fetch new data. We have a NSO Explorer instance to choose. If we have multiple NSO instances, we can choose and connect one of them. So star indicates which one you have connected. Next is filtering. So we can just choose what we want to see from the CDB. Maybe I'll just choose devices and packages. And if in packages, if I show, I just have one node. And last button is mode. Here we can choose what to show, config, hide config data, hey, show config data, hide operational, or hide action. So if I show config data only, it will just show me the devices, because packages are all opera data. So I think that was pretty much Explorer is. We'll again use Explorer with IDE. I just close all these tabs quickly. And let me take you back quickly to slide once again. What we are going to show in IDE. So I have 3 routers. We have some config, BGP config. We need to apply this config on the routers. Obvious choice, we'll use NSO. On top of NSO, we need to write some service to push the config. So we will create a router service package. And for all of this, we will use VS Code and extensions. I will try to demonstrate these many features of using VS Code. Personally, I call them shortcuts. So in VS Code, the next important place after extensions is a command palette. So it goes under view and command palette, like command shift P or F1 is the shortcut. Here, most of the functionality of VS Code is accessible for whatever extensions offer everything. Keyboard shortcuts. So if I type NSO, it shows me what options we have. We can open existing package, create package, add template, add YANG file, many options. So if I click on make package, we get 2 options, Java and Python. Today I'll demonstrate on Java. We already had a demo of Python package creation in last dev days. I have a link included in my slides. So I'll click on Java package. And it opens this wizard. If I show you, this is our README of Developer Studio. It has the Java package, and all the steps which I told are already documented here. Like we need to go in command palette, select the package, a wizard will appear, and we need to enter these details. So let's start it. Maybe I'll give package name as a router service. Package location, I will select my running directory, packages. I will go to running directory, packages, select. Java package name, maybe I'll give com.example.router. Java class name, maybe I'll give router service RFS. Namespace, maybe I will just give cisco.com/router. Prefix, I'll give router. We can choose YANG version. And this NSO installation is nothing but my source NSO. So whichever NCST environment variable is pointing, we pick that. And as soon as I click on create package, it says it should open a new instance with a package created. So let's see if it does that. So, so it created a new instance. And this is an NSO package. Let me show it to you. So it has a package metadata. with a Java callback registered. It has a Yang file, whatever namespace and prefix we gave, that appeared here. It has a router service with service point registered. It has some sample action. Now that service point is registered in Java callback. It's automatically created. And same service point is registered here. It comes up with pre-populated code. Generally from callback, we apply the templates, some action code. I can see on right-hand side there is an error because imports namespace is included and package is not compiled yet. So if I compile the package, it should go away. And as soon as I compile the package, other directory will start appearing, like load directory, it will create the Java classes. So now our structure is entire NSO package. So let's try to write Yang file. So please bear with me while I'll type. I'll try to keep typing as little as possible. So we want to apply this BJP config. I'll just copy that on side so that everyone can see it and I don't make any mistakes. Yeah. So we have a router service name. Device is a leaf list. I'll keep it as is. In BJP config, first is AS number. So I'll do AS number. I'll type LE, L-E just, and control space, favorite shortcut. It shows me some information on right hand side. We can see NSO Yang leaf. It's being added by NSO extension. If I select this, it pre-populates some fields. So I can give AS number. In type, I can give maybe int. If I don't remember what all we support, control space. AS number is unsigned integer. We can even give unsigned, right? So maybe u, we get unsigned integer, and done. Next is Verb. Verb is a list. Let's see how it repopulates a list. Again, NSO Yang list, and if I enter, it populated this entire structure for free. So the typing is very less. So I'll give Verb and name. The same way, we could type most of those fields. I will copy this much from my backup so that we will save some time. So I'll show you what I'm adding. Verb. So on left-hand side, whatever is highlighted, I have created that structure. I have RD, address family, all containers. Static and connecteds are empty. So if user selects, we'll create that config. Neighbor list and leaf IP, I'm getting error. Missing mandatory sentence. So if I miss something, it should prompt me that. Now type string. I'm using Java too much. I gave S capital. So that's another error. So faster feedback on mistakes. But it's a IP. String is not correct. Anyone remember what's the exact type we gave? Something inet : for IP address. Anyway, IP we can do control space. And done. So pretty fast, like we don't have to search anywhere if we even want to find something. And the next remaining part is address family. We have this config pretty much in Verb as well. So what should we do? Repeat this config as is? Or any better way to do this? In just previous session, we saw Yang data modeling. 3 M's. First M, modular. We can use grouping. So what I will do is try to construct a grouping. I'll say gr, control space, grouping. I'll say address family grouping, and I'll just copy the content. And I'll go in Verb, and I will say uses. I don't have to refine or anything. I'll just use the grouping. It shows me all the groupings available in current Yang file and or included imported. So if we have groupings somewhere in common files, generally in other submodules, all of those will also appear. And let me show you one interesting thing. There was one question in earlier demo, how to see Yang models in a diagram. Internally, in IDE, we use a Yangster extension. That provides this beautiful option to open Yang file in a diagram. So this is our router Yang. So if we expand it, it shows pretty much everything what we have in Yang, what we import, what list we have, what groupings. If on right-hand side on diagram, I click on router service, it will navigate me to that section on left-hand side. If I click on users address family, it shows me that section. If I go to neighbor, it shows me that section. If I add grouping under neighbor, it dynamically changes as well. Now, if I go on address family, it shows me 2 references. If I click on the references, it will show me where this grouping is being used. This is really helpful because in development, developer generally make changes in Yang models, updates the grouping, and we need to keep on searching where that grouping is being used. Here, it's visible in no time, so we don't even have to search anything. So it's being used at 2 places. We can just navigate to it. So even if groupings are in different file, it shows. I think this is what pretty much Yang file is. Let's hit the service code. I think I missed to show a template. So it also create a basic template that doesn't have much, like few comments and say how to set a variable and all. So here we have a XPath for device. Maybe I'll give a variable. That way, we can set this variable from service code. So if I go in Java, we have in Yang model, device has a live list. So we can iterate over it. So what I will do is I will write for each. I'll say string device. I'll say service live list. And I don't have to give constant because namespaces are already imported. I'll directly use the namespace. And variable, I'll change to device. It's giving me error because it returns conf value, not string. I will change the data type of device. I will move template application code inside the loop, and I will set the variable to device. And I think we are done. For Java, I think this is what we'll need to do. Let's take a look at template. For template, we need to know the ned Yang structure. So I will copy that on sides so that it's easy to refer and we don't make any mistake in live demo. So router, yeah. So under config, we can have a starting element, something like router. I just entered the starting element. It automatically creates the end element. And same way, we can have a BGP. Then BGP is a list which has a composite key, ID and instance. So I will just copy BGP instance from backup. So I have copied BGP instance, ID, and instance. So for ID, I'll give a AS number. Then we have Verb, and Verb is list in our Yang model. So we need to iterate in template. So to iterate in template, I need to give for each. I entered for each, and this is all. It's auto-populated just with control space. It also adds comment for this end tag. It's really helpful because most of the time in templates, we add different if, for loops, and it's hard to know which end is for what starting tag. So this is one helpful thing. And I'll add verb. Under verb, I'll add name. We are trying to dynamically create a verb name. We'll add a prefix of service name. So if we want to add a prefix of service name, either we'll use some X path, or we can set a variable. So to set a variable, I will use, again, autocomplete of set. I'll give variable as a service. I'll give XPath name as a service. Maybe we need to use a lot of variables in template. I will give this variable as a service name. Just a comment. And I will give $service hyphen $name. So this name is name of the verb coming from the Yang file at this place, verb name key and $service. Now if I click on this variable, it takes me to where it's defined. If I take my mouse pointer over variable, it shows me some comment, service name. How it knows this as a service name? Because of the comment which we gave on top. This makes me wonder what it shows for device. For device, it will show external because it's not defined in template, and then template expects it to be defined in callbacks. So name, and same way we can add other structures too. So I will just add maybe remaining RD and address family one. Here again the same thing. We have address family repeating under verb and neighbors. We wrote such a nice and professional Yang. What should we do? Like repeat the address family again at 2 places, or a better way to do this? We have better way to do this. We can use macro in template. So I will go under config. I will start typing macro. It gives me suggestion. I entered. I'll give something address family macro. And I will copy the structure in this, within this macro. In this macro, I have unicast redistribute. We wanted to add a condition on connected and static. Like if user gives the value, then only we'll set it in a device tree. So again here, I have a help. I will give redistribute / connected. And if it's been defined in input Yang, then only we'll set the config on device. Same way, we will also need to create a condition for static. So I will say redistribute and static. I copied twice. / static. For trigger delay, it's possibility like if user does not give delay under neighbor or verb, so we can add a condition of trigger delay as well. Just to show another way to add a condition, I can use a when loop. Instead of for, I will add a when here. And I will go back in verb and I will expand this macro. So if we don't remember the syntax, I'll say expand. I'll give address family macro. And done. The same way, we have verb list. We can also iterate on neighbor and can add the elements for neighbor config. Oh, I gave error, address family. Why? Because my name of macro is address family macro. Faster feedbacks on mistakes. I can click on the macro. It will take me to the definition. I click on the definition. It will show me the references where this macro is being used. So generally, macros can be defined in different template files as well. So another useful feature where we can find the references. And will this code work? Because I think our template is pretty much done. We have address family macro, we have verb, it's expanded within verb. But our Yang structure is under verb, we have a entire container structure of address family IPv4 unicast. So we need to actually give that entire path here. So instead of just redistribute, I need to give IPv4 unicast and done. So then we need to repeat this path to all the child level elements. Doesn't seem good. It's even going beyond the screen. Do we have better way to do this? We can set context. So with context, it just changed the current context to this node, so that the next next XPath expressions are evaluated relative to this context node, and its scope will be till its parent node is closed, or we set context to something else. And I think this is all pretty much in template 2. So our package is ready. We can push the config. Let's try it out. Maybe we'll compile it. I'll say clear. I'll go to running directory. I'll stop my NCS. I will compile the package. Router service, src, say clean all. And package compiled. I'll log in on NCS CLI. Oh, I didn't started the NCS, so I'll start the NCS with package reload. Wow, started. So I have 3 devices. See? Nothing can go wrong in live demo. Oh, and error. Why? We can check the template. Line number 32, it shows unknown element. Why does it show unknown element on this router? Anyone? Router is in net namespace, not in here. So along with all the IDE shortcuts and features, we also need developers' attention towards the logic. So how can we find the namespace? Go in YANG file, find somewhere else, search somewhere. We have Explorer here itself. So maybe when we create device, it has some default config already created. I can go in device, config, I'll copy the XML, just paste it here, and I must have namespace somewhere. Just on second line, I get the namespace. I will copy from here. I don't need to save this file. I'll go in router and done. I will go back on NCS CLI. I'll do request package reload. It's just a template we can directly do. And package status is up. I'll config. I'll load merge. I'll show you the payload. So show compare. So we have this config. We are pushing on 2 devices. Test just have redistribute, and neighbor has trigger delay. So if I do commit dry run on device 1, config is going properly, just a delay under neighbor. On router 0, same thing. And if I commit it, it should go through. Oh, it says commit complete. Let's verify on one of the device at least. So I'll say h router 0 config router enter. So it's being pushed. Pretty fast, huh? There is one more thing I would like to show you. Please bear with me while I copy that. So we have this Verb dynamically created. Just like maybe a northbound service needs to know the Verb, or someone needs to know what Verb name service has created. How can we get that? So one way could be write an action which will just return us the Verb name. And we can add that action within the service as well. So if I just copy, I have the code pretty much ready. I will just fix it with quick fix, import all missing elements. So this action doesn't do much. It just start the MAPI transaction. It opens a cursor on a key path of Verb, iterates over it, and just create a XML conf XML param values. So in Yang output, we can give verb list, and it should create that, populate that value. So here we need to give key path. How to find a key path again? We need to go in CLI, search, go till that element, show, and display key path or something, or we have Explorer. We can go here, Explorer, I'll say router service. Okay, we just created router service, so we should have an entry there. I'll go on Verb, I will copy key path. I will use this key path here. And instead of hardcoding service, I will give %s, and this key path is being used to open MAPI cursor. And in Yang file, in the same test, just I can add another list for verb with name. I think in Java, I gave it a proper name, get verb. So here in Yang file, I will change self-test to get verb, and maybe I'll rename the action. So I'll need to compile it one more time. I will go here. Because we have like Python and module change, I just need to compile the package one more time. We'll compile it, clean all. And request package reload, and package is up. Now let's try to fetch verb. Request router service BJP get verb, and done. We got the verb name. I think, yeah, we have pretty much what we wanted to achieve. So these are, yeah, so this is the package. We implemented these many features. And next thing I have is roadmap. So we have till now few features, and for expert tools, Kicker helps, nano service, and some template design will be adding in future. One more short story. So a friend of mine who is very good C++ developer once told me, when I asked her why you always use text editor. So she told me, if I start using IDE, people around me will think that I'm new. So do you see that community cultural pressure is there on us? So at least that pressure is not on us, right? So thank God. And with VS Code, we get a lot of extensions which are useful, like extensions of text editor. So you will get pretty much all the features or shortcuts of text editor as well. So you don't feel like changing any environment. So we would like to suggest you to please use VS Code, download the extensions, try it out, and let us know your feedback and suggestions. And yeah, these are few important links. Just a marketplace link, earlier demo of Python package, and our channel where you can provide the feedback. Yeah, and after demo, slides and jokes, if you are not still convinced, there is another attempt to convince you to use these tools. That was I had for my session. I'll wait for questions, if any.
All right, Niraj, very good. We actually have a very active audience here today. So despite being last in the service developer track, you know, you have an audience that paid attention. So
thanks.
So we have, I wonder if we can get the questions up here. Easy to read. So let's go with the first one. Are there any plans to create a similar extension for other IDEs like IntelliJ or PyCharm?
For VS Code, it supports language server protocol. So what it does is between the language server and IDE tool provider, they have the standard protocol, so they don't have to replicate the work everywhere. It supports that, but at least for us, we started with VS Code. And I think for some time we'll stick with VS Code.
It's a good place to be right now.
Yeah. It can be imported to some Eclipse versions, I know, but I have not tried actually.
All right.
Yeah.
I think you touched upon the other two questions here. The backlog, you talked a little bit about the roadmap, things we want to do, as well as support for nano services. Anything else you want to say about that? Or
no, that's pretty much still in brainstorm. So even we don't have nano service package creation in NCS Make package. So that will come soon, and something will come in IDE too.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a question about the macro that you used.
So this question is about macro or how to use macro in IDE.
I guess, where is it? It's up there. Can you explain the macro a bit better? Also, where can we find such features documented?
Okay. I can point you later maybe for macro document, like how can we use macro and all in NSO. But in IDE, just like try macro and enter it. It's small structure, just it will auto-populate. But the logic inside, we need to write actually.
Okay. Auto-completion.
Okay.
Without the control space.
It does that in template. For Java, I think it's Java and Python, it's default. So we don't do anything for that. For Yank, we will see if we can add it or something.
Okay. Then we have a question about OpenAI.
Good Developer Studio integrated with OpenAI.
Everybody's favorite these days.
Good. Personally, I didn't thought of this.
Yeah, I don't know. We've done some work with OpenAI and Yang, etc. I don't know. Do we have Håkan here? No. Maybe he could have told us a little bit about that work.
Maybe the questioner can elaborate more later to us what they intend to know or intend to get from this. Then maybe we'll have a more clarity, like what developers are expecting.
Yeah. And then a question about which releases are supported with NSO.
It's not tied with any NSO release. We are just started it, so that's why I think we are using with 6.0. But it's just a template Yang file autocomplete. So IDE should work for anything, right? Pretty much, Ravi. I will take some help from audience.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so there's no dependency on the NSO release as such. Just that if at all there are any features that are added in the future releases that are not compatible with the older NSO releases, then we will have to put some checks. Otherwise, you can use the IDE with the NSO 5.8, those releases also. Yeah.
And Youngster is...
Look at that, more questions coming in, very good. Youngster is relatively heavy and unstable, and it plans to move away from it.
Actually, good to know. Means, for now we are depending on Youngsters, but if we get many feedbacks, like if people are really facing issues, we can take for a look at any alternatives.
Okay. I think that pretty much sums it up. No live questions. And if the final opportunity to ask Niraj about the IDE. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.